Last weekend was a very strange weekend because number one, I didn't quite manage to launch my FX61. Shit. Now I know why I got it wrong. The bungee hook was too far back, and it was also the hook or the eye thing that actually sits over the bungee hook wasn't the right size. I can't explain it anyway. What it did was move the centre of gravity right back, and it completely messed everything up, as my usual sort of things that I do anyway. So I left it in the car overnight, and I came to it in the morning after it had been in the hot sun on the daytime, and it had stuck to the seat. So I took it out of the car and then proceeded to jump on it, quite violently actually, all over the plane in temper, and it's now gone. But luckily I've got another one. Now this one is going to be done properly, not the shite that I've put on it before. Instead of using plywood, I've made this shelf, and that goes on there like that. I've also got a belly pan protector, which I'll put the links in the description for these. That goes on there. Now this is actually I think it's Mark Q something or other, a design, I can't remember now, but I modified it. That goes on the front there, and this is the bungee hook, and the bungee hook's going to go in there like that, which is a lot further forward. The bungee hook on the other one was about here. So yeah, anyway, that goes in there like that. This piece that I've had off my old FX61, which is basically that piece there, that's going to go in there like that, and it's going to hinge like that. So as when I come down in for landing, if I ever get the thing off the ground, when I come down in for landing, that will just slide back into place flat. So that's what I'm going to use, and that is all. I think that's all it is. That's all I'm using. Mark has also done some covers for these, for the hand grips basically, but I need to get access to those because I've got to have the rings removable because it won't go in the car. So that's going roughly there. They're going on there, number one for belly pan protection, and number two for reinforcement on there. Because it's going to come in nose first. And I don't use this hole, so you may as well cover it up. So I'm going to bolt that in there, and then I'm going to cut the hole for it, and I'm going to glue these on. You know what I mean? I put the skid on, and I've also put the bungee hook on. Now this is the first one that I did with the cutouts, but that made the hook quite far back. So I've done another one. That's going to strengthen it a hell of a lot. So that's basically in line with the front holes. Looking at other videos, that's exactly where people have got it. Maybe just a touch further back, don't know. But as I say, it used to be there on the other one, and that folds like that. Brilliant. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the motor and the ESC in, and then I'm going to put my table over the top of it for the electronics, for the flight controller. So that's next. This is the canopy on my original batwing. It's the only remaining piece that's still in one piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test some glue. Now I've heard that shoe goo is good glue. I bought this off eBay. Thank you for buying of Phantom. So it must be a good omen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this stuff and I'm going to test it on the inside of this canopy. I'm just going to put a blob of it there and see what happens, or a smearing or something like that. So I'm going to leave it for, I don't know, half an hour. Oh, shit. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to spread it out. God, this stuff is thick. Is it supposed to be thick? And I'm going to leave it there just to see if it melts the foam, because some people have said it does, some people said it doesn't. I think what happens is it melts, it actually softens the foam, but after a while, maybe a couple of days, it actually hardens it. So anyway, I'll try it. I'm going to sniff it first. Oh God, it stinks really bad. Right, leave it half an hour. It's been about half an hour and I've been prodding it with my fingernail. It's definitely soft. Definitely softer, but it seems to be it's going solid again. So yeah, it's okay, it does work, it's perfect stuff. So there you go. I've also tried another piece which I've now chucked in the bin. I should have kept it. I've just glued two pieces together and it doesn't come apart. It just won't come apart, so it looks like it's brilliant. Brilliant glue, made in America. Why don't they have some of this stuff over here? Well, they have, because it's here, look. I've decided I'm going to put pan and tilt on this because I've already got something set up. This is the one that I took off my Sky Hunter that I'm actually using the gimbal on now, so it's a shame to not use it. So I've cut the hole in that. This is the old canopy. I just wanted to try it, make sure it works okay. As you can see, it doesn't come down that far, and that's level. Or I could just mount it like that, but that means it'll always be pointing down. I don't know where level is. I think that's level, that bit. So it'll always point down there. So if I tilt it up like that, so I'm going to use that. Obviously I've got to cut the other one out, the other canopy. I might actually drop that even more, but then there's not going to be that much to actually grab on that side, so I don't know yet. I'd like to drop it so as this piece is actually flush with that, but we'll see. Yeah, I think I'm going to mount it underneath like that, and so there's not a lot showing. Obviously it's going to be a bit better than this, so that's that. Although it's going to be pointing down, with flying my mini Talon, I prefer it like that. I could cut some off this bit here, cut a the slot in there, not a slot, cut a piece off and it'll go backwards a bit further, but so that's that. And also this is the piece off that I've cut out. Now just to show you what sort of paint that Valspar is, this was done 3 months ago. You see it's come off on my finger. That's what happened, it stuck to the car seat. So I lost my temper, and the canopy itself was actually off at the time. Luckily, so as I've got something to actually play with, some pattern on here, so I can cut this out. So I think that'll go fine on there. Like I say, I might cut something on there so as that will tilt back a bit further. Job's a good one. And then the run cam goes on the top. Well, it will do. Not this one, the grey one. There you go. And then it's just at the right height as well. Woohoo! Right, I'm going to do that on the good one. Control horns. This one is one that I originally had on something else, can't remember now. Anyway, I drilled the hole out to 2mm, I think it is, so as I could put the control rod through it. But I've only got one. Don't know where the others have gone. Anyway, so I've designed and printed my own focus. So like that. Now these things are actually, you can't break them. And also you've got that piece on the back. There's only one hole on it because it's actually the right length for the FX61. Well, near enough anyway. So that goes on the one side of the elevon and the other one, you know, to clamp it on. So what I'm doing is, I've got the elevon here. Well, this is a wing actually. There's the elevon. So that's going to go in there like that. And then I'm going to bolt it through and then put the clamp on the other side. Now the good thing as well is I've drilled that out to 2mm so as the bolts will go through it. But the bolts themselves, which I can't find, the bolts themselves are 2mm bolts. This side here is 1mm, where it's actually 1.5mm thick. So when you put it through, it actually bites onto it. So you don't need to bolt it to put a nut on it or anything. You just make that hole so as it's big enough for the bolt to go through, like that. And then it just grabs on the other side. So all I use is some bit of glue, and then just screw it on. Job's a good one. Before I stick the decal back down, if you're getting into building these things and you're using a VTX, which you will be on these things, just to explain, polystyrene is a very, very good insulator. If you just dig a hole and put your VTX flush like that, it's got no cooling whatsoever. And I can't remember what it was on now. It was my Skywalker. It actually burnt out. So what I do now is, after I've dug the hole, which I'll try and show you, I've dug the hole for the VTX. I've gone a bit deeper and I've put some standoffs there, so that's actually suspended on either end. Now the other thing, I've cut a slot out there, so when you push that down like that, there's a nice clean area underneath, and then you just get a spoon and cut it, and then you put that down there, although it's got to go a bit lower yet, and that acts as an air scoop like that, and then that keeps your VTX nice and cool. So I'm going to glue that in after I've cut it a bit deeper, glue that in, and then I'm going to put the decal back over, and then that's the VTX done. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I've done. So there's the scoop, which I know it's not at the right angle, but I couldn't put it at any other angle, but it'll work perfectly. So that's that done. There's the exit hole, so that'll keep the VTX nice and cool. Packing tape all round to hold the cables in, wires, whatever. And there you go. So that's all that's sticking out. This is actually my homemade VTX antenna for 1280 meg, I think it was. So that's all I'm going to be using on this one. There's one job done. On the right hand wing, I've had to use my Easy UHF Diversity, my 8 channel, because I haven't got anything else, but hey ho, again you have to deal with what you've got. I've put one antenna, which is actually a dipole, so you've got the active element that goes out to round about here. That's in that bit there. And then, so as you look at it, that's the left side. And then the ground goes along there. And then for the vertical, is that the yeah, vertical, there's the ground plane, and there's the active element. So that's that done. Again, reinforced tape along here, which I've still got to trim that up. I'm not going to tape that up because you just don't need it. It's not going anywhere. And again, this isn't actually glued in at all. It's not. There's no glue whatsoever. So if I need to take it out, all I need to do is cut that out, and it'll just, in theory, in theory, it'll just pull out. Just got to put some tape along there, tidy that up, and then that's the other wing done. Now this is a big mod that I know everyone's going to want to do when they see it. Basically, this thing here, these are so tight, it's unbelievable, which is a good thing, but they are way too tight for my liking. I really did struggle, and at some points I actually damaged the body, the fuselage, that was it. Damaged the fuselage. So I've come up with an idea. You don't need the clips, and it's going to be zero force needed. Oh, bollocks. I've designed and printed these, what the f*** are they? These things. Fuck. I've designed and printed these servo... No! Oh. I was looking at other servo... They're not servo horns. I was looking at some other control horns, like this one, which is too long, so I had to cut it down. Well, I haven't had to cut it down, I haven't cut the thing because it's brand new. Dickhead. I know I've shown you this before, but if you're starting to build these things, or basically any plane, dirty bloody arse.